ones, they're not actually brought as sacrifices. They're sold. And the money is used to buy sacrifices. In the kevas, oilas, burnt offerings, the female ones, sorry, the money is not used for the sacrifice. The animal goes to the sacrifice. The animal goes to a sacrifice, but the money has to go to Bedek Habayis. The money that he gets from that sale goes together with the rest of his possessions to the temple fund. What we're seeing here is that when he consecrated it, it goes to the temple fund. Everything goes to the temple fund.
But then it's designated what it has to be used for, right? An oila or a shlamim.
Right.
So where's the Bedek Habayis in that?
Because the money is taken off. The money that's exchanged for goes to the Bedek Habayis. We said in the Mishnah that Bedek Habayis is on everything. Stomach dashes. Let's do it like this. Stomach dashes lebedek habayis. If a person doesn't say what it's going for, it goes to bedek habayis. So that's including animals as well. He doesn't say lemizbeach. It goes to the bedek habayis. Now it's true that the animal itself is actually going as a sacrifice, but the money from that animal needs to go to the bedek habayis. So we're saying that stomach dashes is lebedek habayis, even animals. However, Rabbi Yeshua Aimer zecharim hinatzmi yikruvu oilas, and a kevas yimachal etzarchish lamim v'yavi b'demei oilas. V'shar nechasam lebedek habayis. Rabbi Yeshua says no. The male ones, they themselves are brought as sacrifices. So here's where we lose Rabbi Yeshua's opinion from the Mishnah, because according to the Mishnah, even animals need to go lebedek habayis, to the temple fund. And Rabbi Yeshua is saying that there's nothing from this animal that goes to the temple fund. It just goes straight as a sacrifice.
He's unconsecrated, right?
No, he consecrated all his possessions.
But didn't specify.
He didn't specify to what. So the animals it's a machlekes what happens with the animals. So Rabbi Lezer says the animals still have money value that goes to bedek habayis, and Rabbi Yeshua says no, it's just offered straight as a sacrifice. So upliga de Rav Ada Barava, and this argues on Rav Ada Barava. Amarav, it's supposed to be probably. Rav Ada Barava, that's it. Let's see. Ada Barava. We've had him before because we discussed the last letter, the spelling of Ada ends in an aleph and Abba ends in a hey. Remember we discussed that.
It says Rav Ada Bar Abba is a second generation Amora, a student of Rav, not Rav Ada Bar Abba, who's the student of Rabbi.
Oh, interesting. So there's two of them. Okay, they're not on the chart, so they didn't make it.
Off the chart.
They're off the chart. So, and this Rav Chia Bar Abba Rabbi Yechanan is arguing with Rav Ada Bar Abba Amarav. So we have the statement in Israel, we have the statement in Babel. Dam Rav Ada Bar Abba Amarav Beida Shekula Zacharim. If the entire flock is male sheep, I feel Rabbi Lezer Maided the Leishavik Kinish Kachim Mizbeach Maktis Lebedek Habayis. Even Rabbi Lezer would agree that he didn't mean for it to go to the Bedek Habayis. He meant for it to be sacrifices directly. We're talking about that the flock was half male, half female. And now here's the machlekes. Rabbi Lezer Savar ein chelekes nidrei, that a person would not divide up his flock. And since the female are not brought as burnt offerings, so to the male are not brought as burnt offerings. And so therefore, even though they have to be sold, as Eilis, but the money needs to go to the Bedek HaBais, because we see that was his intention with the rest of the flock. Rabbi Shua Savar Chelekas Nidre, no. Shua says he divides it up. What he meant. Lishnach, another way of saying this. Amrila Amar Avad Barav Amarav B'Shleihek Teshela Behema. We're talking about that he only consecrated the animals. Afilu Rabbi Lezer Maida D'Lei Shavik Inish Kachim Mizbeach Makdash LeBedek HaBayis. Then even Rabbi Lezer would agree that in other words, Rabbi Lezer that held that you need to sell the animals and use the money for Bedek HaBayis, he would not argue. He would hold that no, you bring the animals directly as a korban. We're only talking about when there were animals and other possessions. Rabbi Lezer Savar Ein Adam Chelekas Nidrei, that a person doesn't divide up his words, his vow. The rest of his items are not going on the altar, so therefore the animal also doesn't go on the altar, it goes to the temple fund. Rabbi Shua Savar Adam Chelekas Nidrei. Rabbi Shua says that a person does divide up his vow, and how does that come in? Adam Chelekas Nidrei. That's Zion. Okay, that's a new piece. It's supposed to have the word Tanan over there. And so Rabbi Shua says that a person would divide up his vow, and therefore the animals would be directly sacrifices, and the rest of his items would go to the temple fund. Okay, now we go back to quote the Mishnah. The Mishnah said, it's actually, we're not quoting the Mishnah, we're quoting the Brisa. The end of the Brisa, so why did we say Tanan? It was really Tanya. Oh, that's a mistake. The Tanya before was supposed to be Tanan. Okay, everything. When you correct the last one, then this one fits. It's a Mishnah in Shkolim. The Mishnah said that according to Rabbi Eliezer, you take the money from the sacrifices, you take the money from the animals, and you give it to the Bedek HaBayis. The Gemara says, according to the second interpretation, we said that he has items, other personal items that he's consecrated, and they're going to the temple fund. And Rabbi Lezer says that the money from the animals also goes together with them. That's what those words mean. But according to the Lishna Kama, where we said that he has animals, and it's divided. Some are male, some are female. What does it mean? Listen to Yiplu lebedek habayis. There's no other items there. It's just one flock of sheep. It's not shar nechasim. The whole machlekes over there was only when he has one flock, and half are male, half are female. And Rabbi Lezer says a person doesn't divide up his words, and Rabbi Shua says a person would divide up his words, and they go directly as sacrifices, according to Rabbi Shua. But there was no other items here. Let me just finish the line. So the Gemara says, okay, you're right, Tanya Nami Hachi, but it happens to be we have a brisa, the Me'em Yiplu lebedek habayis. You leave out Imshar Nechasim, we have another brisa that taught this, and it doesn't have those words Imshar Nechasim, that there are other items here that he consecrated. It's just the flock of sheep. Yeah.
We're too far behind.
Okay. Hektish bedek habayis chal ala kol. What's consecrated to the temple could be anything. Anything could be consecrated to the temple. Lasuyimai, what are you trying to include when you say anything? So Amar Ravina lasuyi shifui v'nivei. Well, shifui I looked up, it was a little bit hard to get a good translation. Nivei are sprouts. He's consecrating a tree. He's consecrating a tree. And what we're trying to include is that even the sprouts, what does it say?
Sawdust.
Sawdust.
I got a sawdust.
When I looked it up, I was getting like overflow or something.
Give you bids or something.
The sawdust and the small sprouts, those can also be consecrated. Umayalin. Oh, actually, interesting. It says that this is used as fertilizer. Rashi says.
Sawdust?
From Home Depot.
They'll give you sawdust for fertilizer.
I don't know. I'm gonna ask them.
Depends how scrupulous they are.
Come to my house.
Here
Yeah,
it
so
says there's stuff to be
My wife is always cutting wood. There's always
Here it
sawdust.
says-
And she takes the leftover sawdust and she sprinkles it out
It's
in
like
the bushes.
that.
Just,
It is-
just
it is
like
good.
dead leaves.
Fertile,
Just decomposes.
In Starbucks, they'll give you a bag of the grinds for compost. It's a sales gimmick just to make them look like they're
Benevolent.
concerned.
Nespresso-
about the planet.
Nespresso's latest thing
They give
is
more.
that they'll take
So you
the
can ask
little
for
containers that are recycled,
leftovers of the
quote unquote,
coffee.
to try and get you to recycle them, and they now give you a special $55 pen made out of recycled tins.
Like hotels that don't want to wash the sheets, so they say like be green and like.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
Well, that's
Okay.
been on for a while. Yeah.
Umayalin b'gidulayan. There's me'ilah on what grows from what was consecrated. Lasuyimai, what is it coming to include? Amarav Papa, we jump a bunch of generations here. Lasuyei chalev hamukdashim. This means the milk. What's the vowel in there? Chalev? Chalev hamukdashim. It's the milk from the animals. There's an me'ilah on that. You know, as we said, you weren't supposed to milk it but whatever the case is, if there's milk from it, so there's me'ilah on that. It's also consecrated. Ubeitze Tyran, and the eggs that come from the birds that are consecrated, there's also me'ilah on that. Kidetanya chalev hamukdashim beitze Tyran leinanin. You're not supposed to have benefit from it. V'loy mayalin. But there's no me'ilah. That's only if it's from something that was consecrated as a sacrifice. But if it's consecrated to the temple fund, so hikdish tanagailas mayalim bebetzasa, there is me'ilah. So that's what we're saying in the Mishnah, that there's something stronger about the bedek habayis than by kachim mizbeach is me'ilah in the eggs that come from the birds. It's interesting. Chamaira, a female donkey, mayalin b'chalba. There's me'ilah on the milk of this, because you can consecrate an animal not as a sacrifice but to the temple fund. And even according to the opinion that holds that there is me'ilah on what grows,
Could you just remember what me'ilah is?
me'ilah is personal use from something that's consecrated, and
Okay.
it's a prohibition where it's very serious if it's done on purpose, and it's a sacrifice if it's done by mistake. So even according to the opinion that holds that there is me'ilah by something that goes to the altar, that's only something that's eligible to go to the altar. But if it's not eligible for the altar, for whatever reason, there's no me'ilah, but there is me'ilah by bedek habayis, even by the gidulin.
They say there's no
They're
meaning,
not-
there's no
they're not
punishment
fit for the altar because of the eggs and milk, the byproducts.
Eggs and milk, so that there would be no me'ilah there. Okay.
So we're one page behind, right?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, right? Wednesday, Thursday. What we'll do is we'll have to sit down after. If we don't finish, we'll have to sit down after the Shachris and finish the last piece. And Moshe will finish. You'll make the siyum on the end. The last. Now.